I think that our main problem is that we don't know what to do with the money, or don't know well enough what to do with the money. And what we know to do with the money, for example, to reduce the size of the classes, it costs so much money that we don't dare do it in the required measure. So that is why these games with the budget do not bear fruit, especially not on the shorter to medium range. Okay, questions now. Into the mic. My name is Ilya Afadjon. I come from the formal education, from the third sector as well. And I think that the end of Ms. Hyman's talk, we needed to see the transparency by Rama that shows that there is no improvement from 2000 to 2005. If the improvement is about 10 points, it's only 1%. You invested 30% more in a factory with such an investment and the same results. You would shut down this factory. There was no change in the processes within schools. It happens in factories. When you increase the number of production workers, you don't have any pedagogical change. I was a coordinator of a project by Rashi Foundation. All the money given to the professors, to the consultants, were from the Rashi Foundation. The Ministry of Education, 95% of their budget goes to the salaries of the teachers. There is a big project in Korea: teach less, learn more. All the indices means more and more hours, teaching hours. There was no pedagogical strategic statement about how one should manage the learning. FRC, research, space research, and nano missiles, all of this is being financed by private foundations. Just this year, the FRC project has started to be invested by the Ministry of Education. It's a pity we don't have here a representative of the Ministry of Education on the stage. Shlomo, please. Shlomo Itzhaki there, over there. I've got one remark, and that is that if we look at the distribution of grades or scores in the state of Israel, grading them according to the average in a school or in a class is not the right one. Statistically, it's not right, and that is why you have to change the method and take that into consideration. Because if you look at the grading vis-a-vis the OECD, it's parallel to a raffle in which you choose a country out of the OECD countries, and the result is dictated by tossing a coin. That is why this statistics is not right. Itai from the chief scientist of the Ministry of Education. A question to Noah. In 2011, there was a suggestion that a school would have to report to the Ministry of Education and to you as well about all the different sources of income, including foreign superpowers, says the moderator. I suggest that we let the panelists refer to these questions because otherwise they won't remember it. First of all, I would like to say, well, I was whatever she said is true, of course, but you can look at things differently. But you know what? When I talk about equality, first of all, my role in this project was not to check the connection between inputs and outputs. Of course, this should be examined, and when you look, sorry, they're talking together. In education, when you speak about this connection, you really have to look at things according to a long range principle. And I'm not impressed by the by position number 39 or 40. I've heard what Shlomo had to say about that. When I'm talking about inequality in education, for me at least, it has a value based dimension. I don't have to justify any battle for equality in budgets by whatever functional contribution to the to achievements. If it contributes to achievements, I would be more than happy. But it is important to have equality as a value, both as a value unto itself, and that's why the state of Israel has to has to vote, and of course this is an ideology, to vote on a process towards equality. Data, when we know how we can play with data, everyone knows how to present his or her own position. When I'm talking per student and I take out the Arabs and the ultra Orthodox and I ignore the fact that the ultra Orthodox class, that the state religious education classes are smaller, things change. But all in all, undoubtedly, the system, the Shoshani system or method, was more progressive than the present one. And in the framework of the Shoshani report, the safety net was not so big. It could be handled. And by the way, if a school in Metula that is a a town, an affluent town, and there is only 20 students, I'll have to give it a safety net because the number of students is low and the students have a high socioeconomic status, but they enjoy the fact that they have 20, that are only 20. Near them, you've got Avivim, also with 20 children, and they are going to get a number that reconciles with them because they have a low socioeconomic status, and I won't have to give them a safety net. In a number of economic projects, the Ministry of Finance tries to promote the transparency system, the transparencies about the budgeting data shows it to you with simulations, and this was not published in the past. You can get down into the resolutions of the income of each and every school. We have been trying, not very successfully, to keep on with the project to another two stages. The first one is the local municipalities' sources or resources. We are trying to start a pilot together with the Ministry of the Interior to collect this data. It is more complicated than we thought, but we really think that it's very important and we want to keep on in this direction. Okay, another three questions, and that would be it. Into the mic, please. I would like to make a number of comments. First of all, Noah, your presentation was really fascinating, but we have to remember that the increase was mainly of poor students. So if you look at the budgeting per student, this is a biased one. You have to look at the budgeting if you want to get something that has to do with inequality per the income of the parent. In other words, the number of poor children went up, and in order to preserve the situation, the budget that you have to give has to go up because the number of poor students has gone up. So this is my first point. And my second point is that I deal with mainly with early childhood, but I think that in general we should have to have a criteria of non-cognitive behavior. Some things are more significant than the academic achievements. Maybe it's more important for me to develop this person as a useful citizen instead of having 5 units in mathematics for the matriculation examination. Maybe from the value-based point of view, maybe I should measure the social, the virtues, the emotional indices, And the third comment, the transition to the Ministry of Education as terms of the of in terms of the early childhood is better because the standards in the ministry are better. Thank you very much. Yes, please. Sima Ovadia Porcelana from the Ministry of Education. I'm the head of the Marom program, that is the second leg of the differential budget. Just to add to the dialogue here, the Ministry of Education has decided to accompany the schools in the higher echelons of the deprivation index. We saw it in the results of the Meitzav tests that have that have been recently published about this Gordy connection between the socioeconomic situation and the academic achievements, and we are trying to unravel this knot, the Gordian knot, in the in that we accompany these schools because we know that poverty brings about many other problems that have to be coped with, and there is a problem of the schools themselves. Teachers who teach children at risk have to confront the same problems. We are intensively accompanying them 3 to 5 years according to the different schools, and they according to their status in the Meitzav results, and we refer to also to the infrastructures, management infrastructures, staff infrastructures, climate, pedagogy, and reference to the same space for the teachers. I hope and I'm sure that this is going to bring about the expected outputs, but this necessitates a different discussion. Just one more question and then you will be able to answer. Don't be cross at me. If I'm cross, it's not that I'm crossed with you, I'm crossed with the situation. First of all, I say, what's your name? My name is Ora Chacham. I am the head of a public forum for equal opportunities in education. When we speak about an equal income, I'm really annoyed because a person that earns less money puts less money in the inputs in education. So the achievements, such a person is always going to be in zero achievements vis-a-vis the other organizations and people that can invest a lot. What can I see as a goal? That 850,000 poor Jews that live in Israel, ultra-Orthodox and Arabs as well. All of them are in the same situation, give or take. And 40% of this population should be, with the help of the government of Israel, helped. And the government of Israel knows how to bring the money in order to change the goals, rather the strategy. Just a minute. Just a minute. 40% of the citizens of the state of Israel are poor, and at the age of 18, they should be entitled to study in universities. They're going to help themselves and the economy of the state of Israel. Thank you very much. Answers, please. The data that have been presented do not include the ultra-Orthodox education. Most of the increase in the ultra-Orthodox population is not expressed in these data, and that's for another reason, because they are budgeted by 75% and 55% of the budget, and that is for other reasons that don't have to do with equality in education. And also, I would like to say that measurement is not only a mathematical value. You can measure values and achievements and equality and everything. I think that the those easier ways that we give to ourselves that education is different, and you can explain why everything is pedagogical, etc., is one of the ailments of this system. Nobody knows what to do because things are not being examined and analyzed. It does not mean that the it does not mean the pedagogical work is less good. And to the Ministry of Education, I really forgot to mention, but this accompaniment program, in order to accompany those weak schools, is going to be much more significant in terms of its effect on the results than the additional hours, because for the first time, every school is going to be escorted or accompanied as if it is a certain strategist or consultant that comes to the school and helps the team, the staff, and the principal to understand what the problems are and to build a program for change and improvement. Just one word, Nahum. I would like to say what should be the direction, in my opinion. I think that it used to be a differential basket of services to students from the kindergarten until high school, and this basket should include all the services, including the services given by the local municipality. Apart from this, every student should receive exactly according to his or her socioeconomic background. The budget is going to be taken off the schools if it does not fulfill a number of conditions, such as non-screening, non-collection of payments from the students, and employment according to the national wage agreements. Had we done all these things in this general framework, and I know some people would say that it's too puristic, and but I think that we have to think about the goal. The minute we find the goal, we can get to it. We'll talk about that later. Couldn't hear what the person from the audience said. I think that they don't have to study the core subjects. They are going to be budgeted as they should be. Thank you very much. And I understand that we